Okay, sweet. So welcome everybody to the Team Easy Europe Sunday night training. It is Sunday, February 4th. Let's just get right into content. Now, how many of you are asking the magic question at the very end of the discovery process? How many of you guys are being disciplined about asking the question curiously, who are two people that you know would want to do this with you for sure? How many of you guys are consistently asking that question? Just type it in the chat box. And if you're not consistently asking that question, just raise your hand and acknowledge that you're not asking that question, and we can talk about it. So Pat says 98% of the time, every time, always. Anna says nope, okay? Donna says yep, no. Neil says no. Anna says I'm bad. It's not about bad or wrong or good, okay? No matter what, guys, no matter what, hands down, by far, the most important question you could ask somebody is, curiously, who are two people that you know would want to do this with you for sure? Now, Anna's saying that she forgets. So what that tells me, and Anna, if this is happening for you, it's also happening for others, what that tells me is that you don't have the discovery process up right in front of you, and that you think, and you're doing it from memory. And guys, write this down if you're taking notes. If it doesn't duplicate, it doesn't matter. So if on one phone call, you're doing one thing with a prospect, and in another phone call, you're doing another thing with a prospect, and on another call, you're doing another thing with a prospect, and you don't have synergy and consistency in what you do, your team will never duplicate. Never. I promise you it'll never duplicate. What it will do is it'll replicate bad habits. And what you'll have is an organization of people that are just doing a lot of nothing, quite frankly, because they don't really know what to do. Certainty breeds confidence. People want to know what to say, how to say it, when to say it. And so what we've done, guys, is we've worked really, really, really hard testing, having thousands of conversations to identify what exactly will people respond to, what questions will evoke certain emotions, what questions and statements will get someone to take action. And it's there on a silver platter for you guys. And so if you're frustrated that people aren't turning around and sharing, I would challenge you to be more diligent in, one, having the template up in front of you, and two, following it to a T, and three, making sure that you ask the question every single time. Now, guys, it's not just us that's having results from this question. It's the entire Isogenics community who's really started to adopt it, and they're getting massive results. So much so that Eden was asked to do a keynote presentation on that question because they looked at our growth as a company over the last 18 months or so, and they said, what do you attribute it to? And one of the biggest things we attribute it to is that simple question. That simple question. So have the template in front of you. Now, here's what's really amazing. For those of you guys that don't want to have the template in front of you, that's fine, but here's what I'll tell you. Eden, who is the master of this, who is a millionaire, who can do it with her eyes closed on every discovery call, guess what she has in front of her? Is the template. Even though she's the co-author of it with me, even though she knows it better than she knows most anything in this profession because it's her baby, she still has that template up in front of her. So just ask yourself the question, if having the template up in front of someone who's a millionaire, in front of someone who's a keynote speaker for the company, in front of someone who, yes, I might be biased, but objectively, I've been in the industry for 11 years, who's one of the best networkers in the world right now, if it's good enough for her to follow a template, would you agree that it's probably good enough for you? And Emma just said it, success leaves clues. So if it doesn't duplicate, it doesn't matter. And templates duplicate, guys. Templates duplicate. So that being said, yep, a lot of teams are not following the templates. And you know what? Here's what we know. There is a direct correlation to the people that are getting results and the people that are not getting results, whether it's the UK-based team, the Netherlands team, or here domestically in the States. It's always across the board. We can just look to it. The people that are struggling, the people that are frustrated, the people that aren't getting people started, the people that aren't converting consultants. It's very, very simple to just take a look at it and go, are you following the templates? Are you following the system? No, not exactly. Okay, because here's what the templates are, guys. And then we're going to get into some more training. Here's what the templates are. The templates are a recipe. The templates are a recipe to make the perfect meal, to make the meal taste absolutely exquisite for anyone who eats the meal. And you could take that recipe and you could give it to a brand new chef or to a Michelin-rated chef. And as long as they followed the ingredients perfectly and used all the ingredients the right way in the exact order, without giving it their own little thing, they're going to produce a perfect meal. But if the recipe calls for olive oil and somebody goes, no, I don't really like olive oil, it's not really my style, I'm going to use avocado oil, the meal is no longer going to be perfect. It might taste a little similar, but it won't be perfect. So what we've created, guys, through these templates and through the system is a recipe. But the perfect meal that you're eating is really your own success. It's just your success. We've just designed a recipe for your success. We've designed a blueprint for your success. And ultimately, we just want you to be successful because we want you to have the freedom that we have. And we want your team to have the freedom that we have. So, moving forward, how many of you are committed? How many of you are committed to pushing aside your egos and following the templates and asking the question every single time? How many of you guys are willing to push aside your ego? Because I promise you that's all it is ego. Push aside your ego and follow the templates every single time. Okay, cool. Now, when we do, it's a bit warm today. I probably shouldn't say that to you guys over there because it's like negative something, I'm sure. All right, cool. So here's what we know. We know that when we ask the question, curiously, who are two people that you know would want to do this with you? For sure, how many of you have people that say, I don't know anybody? Just type it in the chat box, you, right? How many of you guys just have people that say, I don't know anybody? I don't know anybody. Okay. And so what happens is sometimes we get stuck. Now, oftentimes, the way that you're asking the question might lend itself to why people are saying no, I don't know anyone. Because if you're saying, do you know, instead of who do you know, you're going to get no's. But let's assume, and let's just imagine for a second, that you're asking the question exactly as it's written, which is curiously, who are two people that you know for sure want to do this with you? And they still say, I don't know anyone. Well, you have the ability to prod them a little bit, to ask a couple of extra very brief questions to maybe get them thinking. And so sometimes it's okay just to ask questions like, yeah, no worries. Well, curiously then, who do you know that is always complaining about how tired they are? Who do you know that complains about their weight? Who do you know that doesn't sleep well at night? Who do you know that's exhausted all the time? Who do you know that works out? Who do you know that's trying to get in shape? Who do you know that couldn't fit into their favorite pair of jeans, a couple of months ago? Who do you know? And so you start to give these very quick, very brief little questions to people, and guess what they're going to do? All of a sudden, oh God, my sister is always complaining about how tired she is. My friend Susie, just last week, was sad that she couldn't fit into her clothes from before she had a baby. Right? So it's very simple, and you just prompt them. Now, what's going to happen? What's going to happen is they're going to say, I know, well, yeah, okay, Susie and my sister, Michelle. Susie and Michelle. Great. And then you go right back into the template, right back into it. And then they might say, fine, but I kind of want to see how the products work for me. No worries. Now, here's the next thing that I know most of you are probably not doing. I know most of you are probably not doing this, and it's so important to do this. The 5-day follow-up call. The 5-day follow-up call is one of the most important phone calls you could ever possibly make. How many of you have no idea what I'm talking about or what the 5-day follow-up call is? How many of you guys have no idea what I'm talking about? And it's okay if you don't. Okay, so Carrie says this is the one she's never done. Thank you for being honest. How many of you know what the 5-day follow-up phone call is, but you're not really doing it? Okay. Well, Pat, I know you do now. I know you had a really great phone call yesterday. I know. Michelle says she's not consistent. Claire knows what it is, but you don't do it. Okay, thank you for being honest. Okay. It's the most important phone call you can make. One, because you should be doing it anyway because it's an act of great customer service. We know that after 5 days, and stop hiding behind messages, guys. Stop hiding behind texts. Stop hiding behind voice notes. Pick up the phone and call people. Pick up the phone and call people. We are so disconnected as a society. We're more connected than we've ever been because of technology, and we're more disconnected than we've ever been because of technology. How many of you, and I'm gonna come back to the 5-day phone call, how many of you would prefer getting a handwritten card versus an email? How many of you would prefer getting a handwritten card versus getting an email? Probably everyone. How many of you would prefer someone going and selecting a gift based on how well they know you and purchasing you that gift instead of giving you a gift card? How many of you would rather have that gift where someone looks, you see that gift and go, God, this person really knows me, instead of just here's 25 pounds to Amazon? How many of you would rather someone smile at you than frown at you? Guys, we live in a world where gift cards are the norm, emails are okay, and a text message is enough for someone's birthday for some reason because Facebook reminds us. And we have the ability every single day to connect with people on a one-on-one level and remind them that we care about them and that their lives matter. Some of you are just putting people into the system, hoping they do well on the products and hoping that it just takes off and it's fine. And you're hoping that they turn around and make money for you as opposed to making money with you. And so I really want to help you guys to get that all of this is about giving and serving people. And that picking up the phone in today's society, guess what it does? It separates you. It differentiates you from everybody else that they spend money with. It shows them that you care. And it shows them they're a part of a community and a part of something bigger than just having bought a product or a system. It's so vital. Whether or not they take advantage of sharing the opportunity is irrelevant. What's important is that you show up consistently as a person who actually cares enough to pick up the phone and check in on somebody. Because how long does it take to make that phone call? Somebody tell me, how long does it take to make a phone call? 2 to 5 minutes. That's it. 2 to 5 minutes. And most of you probably spend a good 2 to 5 hours a day cumulatively just scrolling on Facebook. Imagine how many follow-up phone calls you could make if you weren't scrolling on Facebook. Now, what does the 5-day phone call look like? Let's pretend that Donna was my customer. And Donna on the original call said, I don't know anyone, but I then asked her a couple more prompt questions. And she said, Susie and Michelle. And I call her on day 5 and I said, Donna, good morning, how are you feeling? And she's gonna say, oh my God, I feel amazing. What are you noticing? Oh my God, I'm sleeping better at night. I have loads more energy. I feel like this fog has lifted out of me. And Zach, I don't know if it's possible, but is it possible that after 5 days, I've already lost a couple pounds? Is that possible? Yeah, it's actually highly likely, Donna. Donna, let me ask you a question. Donna, do you think that Susie and Michelle would want to be sleeping better at night, have more energy, have the fog lifted, and feel like they've already lost a couple of pounds after just 5 days? Listen to the language. Listen to what I'm asking Donna. Do you believe that your friends, people that you care about, would want to be able to experience what you're experiencing after just 5 days on this system? What do you think Donna's going to say? Of course. Great. Donna, if I can show you a very simple text message that you can send to Susie and Michelle to gauge their interest and to learn more about what they might want to achieve with this system, just like you have, would you be willing to send a couple of simple text messages to your 2 good friends? What do you think Donna's going to say? Of course, I'd be happy to. That sounds great. Wonderful. Do you happen to be in front of your computer? Can you open your mobile? Let me just take you and show them the text message template. And just right there, boom. And look what's happened. How many of you are overcomplicating the process because you're trying to do it your way, which is fine, but how many of you are overcomplicating this? Guys, network marketing is not easy, but it is simple. And we work very, very hard to complicate it. We work very, very, very hard to complicate this. Very hard. But here's what I can promise you. If you are diligent about the system, if you are diligent about the templates, you will create leaders. You will create duplication. Shannon and Eric Miller, who Eden just shouted out in the team page. Let me help you understand something about these two, okay? From the outside looking in, you would think that Eric and Shannon, extremely good looking, very fit, he's a doctor. You would think that they would have come in and absolutely killed this thing because they'd have a massive sphere of influence. Thousands of people on social media would follow them. No. Eric and Shannon, when we first started with them, said to us, we feel like we live on a place called Miller Island. We don't have a lot of friends. We don't think that there's a lot of people for us to talk to, but we get it. And we want what you guys have. So we're going to be willing to do whatever you guys teach us to do, because your results are the results that we want for our family. Show us what to do. Now, both of them, just to be clear, had less than 400 friends apiece on Facebook. The vast majority of those friends they shared. So really, they probably only had about 150 to 200 unique individual friends on Facebook. So was social media going to be their way to go? No. No. So what did they do? They took our templates. They took the top-down approach. They started calling people in their phone. And they became loyal to the system. They just sold out to it. And last week was their biggest cycle week ever, and it was really big. And they had 3 personal enrollments last week for their biggest cycle week ever. But guess what? This week was bigger than last week, and this week they didn't enroll anybody. And it was their biggest cycle week ever. Why? How is that possible? How is it possible that they've gone from their biggest week ever with enrolling people to the very following week, basically doing no personal enrollments? How is it possible that they had a bigger week? What's the one thing that they must have happening in their organization for that to occur? You guys tell me, what's the one thing that they must have going on? Duplication. They have duplication. I did a call with a network marketing professional who's in another company. He asked me to do some consulting about his business. His team, they do okay. He makes about $5,000 to $7,000 a month US in his business. He's been at that same place in his business for 4 years. Cannot get above $5,000 to $7,000. I listened to him. We talked a little bit. What do you think I found out? What do you think I found out that he was missing? What do you guys think? No duplication. 0. Here's what I asked him. I asked him a very simple question. I said, hey, Mr. Person, I don't want to give away his name. I said, hey, let me ask you a question. If you brought me into the company and you took me through the process, helped me get started on some products, showed me the compensation plan, showed me how it worked. And then I went and I called your #1 leader in your organization. Would the conversation sound the exact same? And he said, no, it won't even sound close. And I said, okay, so what about 2 levels down from you? He said, I have no idea. Well, there you go. So for those of you who feel like you're enrolling people, but your business isn't growing, it's because you're not duplicating. And it's because you're not allowing yourself to be duplicatable when there's a recipe that you can just say here. And for those of you that aren't seeing the results that you want to see from an enrollment perspective, it's because you're not being consistent in mastering the recipe that's already been proven to work. It's that simple. It's that simple. Guys, here's what I know. Every single one of you knows how to work hard. You all know how to work hard. And all of you can learn the skills to do this. All of you. The things we cannot teach to anyone that comes in our organization, and you will not be able to teach this to anyone that comes in your organization, you can't teach tenacity, you can't teach grit, and you can't teach work ethic. Those are things that people either have or they don't have. You guys must have those things because you're on every single one of these calls, you're plugging into the groups, you're going for it. You must have the intangibles. So what's missing? What's missing is a willingness to just learn the steps as they go. And for those of you guys that want to go faster, sometimes you got to slow down to speed up, because nothing will slow you down more than, oh, well, I tried using the system with 2 conversations. It didn't work, so I'm going to go try and do something else. Oh, I heard this on a podcast, so I'm going to go try this something else. Nothing will slow you down more than doing this, then doing that, then doing this, then doing that, then doing this, then doing that, then doing this, then doing that. Nothing at all will slow your business more than that. Consistent, persistent action over a sustained period of time is what leads to success. Consistent, persistent action over a sustained period of time is the recipe. That's the recipe. That's the recipe. Consistent, persistent action over a sustained period of time is the recipe. That's it. There's nothing separating any single one of you from anything that Eden and I have created, or that you see Emma creating, or that you see Ed doing, or that you see Michelle doing, or that you see Esther and Tommy, who are the #1 in the Netherlands right now, or the Bockarts who just qualified for the January Jolt, anyone that I'm missing, right? There's nothing separating you guys. Nothing. It's just about consistent, persistent action over a sustained period of time. That's the magic formula. So I really want to challenge you guys. Follow the template. Ask the magic question every single time. Every time. Non-negotiably. Doesn't matter what you think they're going to say. Ask it. Then prompt if they say no one. And then 5-day phone call. 100% of the time, 5-day phone call. And here's one last thing I want to share with you guys. You can do Isogenics part-time. You can do Isogenics full-time. But what you cannot do is Isogenics some of the time. Okay? Sound good? All right, guys. So we're gonna hop off. We're gonna hop off. Me, all of us together. Let's see. I will see you guys. We'll see you next Sunday, the 12th, for a training. And then if we're not traveling that day, we might be traveling that day. I don't know. We'll figure out. There will be training next Sunday. And then again, guys, get to Manchester. Get to Amsterdam, get to Ghent. Consistent, persistent action over a sustained period of time. We'll talk to you guys soon, and I'm going to post something in the groups. Please remember to write down what did you learn, not for my benefit, but so you can retain the information at a deeper level. We'll talk to you guys soon. Have a great evening. Bye.